I bought Dollar Tree and drugstore makeup to test against some of the most expensive, luxurious makeup products you can find at Sephora or Ulta. Before you watch this video, I need you to comment down below which side you think is the cheapest side and which side you think is the luxury expensive side. And thank you so much to Ideal Jewelry for sponsoring today's video. A lip balm for $1.25 or a lip balm for $23. Which one will I choose? The Dollar Tree one is called Be Pure Hydrating Night Lip Mask with hyaluronic acid. Has like a menthol scent to it, almost kind of minty in a way. It's giving artificial. Now the $23 one is the Viral Ole Henriksen Peptide Lip Treatment. This one does have kokum butter, acai sterols, and peptides, and it smells like an orange creamsicle. The crazy part is they both have a very similar thickness, texture, and tackiness to them. They feel almost identical, y'all. Even blending it, they have a very similar tackiness. Honestly, if I was being picky, the Be Pure might be slightly thinner. Let's put the Ole Henriksen on the lips to see what it's supposed to look like and feel like. It smells so delicious. I could eat it, and it looks great. I have no complaints. I've worn this many times, especially in the winter, to keep my lips nice and hydrated, and I love it. Now let's try the $1 lip mask. Well, excuse me, $1.25. Yeah, actually, it's thick, but it's slightly thinner if we're being very particular here. But look at that shine. I feel like this is shinier than the Ole Henriksen one because the Ole Henriksen one does have a milky finish to it, while this one is a lot more clear. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't expect this. But the winner, in my opinion, can you guess? Is Be Pure for $1.25. So as long as you don't mind a menthol minty scent, save your money. Now the next products have a pretty significant price difference, and I've used both of them multiple times, so I don't really know which one I'm going to choose, but we're gonna decide today. Let's compare this $6 stick foundation to a $57 stick foundation. This is Essence. This is Dior. The price difference is crazy. I will say for the Essence foundation, it's not a perfect one-to-one comparison because the Essence foundation is slightly less coverage, or actually significantly less coverage than the Dior, but you can build it up. The finish is also more hydrating and luminous, and it blends evenly like a dream. I'm not having the best skin day, so this is really gonna put the product to the test. I do want to add a little bit more coverage just to make sure it can be built up evenly with the Dior. Yep, completely satisfied with this. I also want to note this foundation stick has many different shades. I don't know how many, but there's so many different shades, and you can use them as a bronzing stick as well. Now let's compare it to the $57 Dior foundation stick. I have the shade in 3WO. Swipe, swipe, swipe. And this one has a fragrance. It smells kind of like the Miss Dior perfume, I would say. It's very like fresh and florally, but Essence does not. I really like the foundation match of this. I think that this color matches my undertone slightly better than the Essence. It's slightly more yellow and deeper than this side. This side's making me look a little paler. And this one is also blending like a dream. And honestly, I thought this was gonna have more coverage than the Essence, but I think they might be on an even playing field. Ooh, I will say blending the Dior around the nose. Actually, they both look terrible around the nose. That's just stick foundations. I don't find that stick foundations work great on my skin. Oh, it actually looks like it's breaking apart. So as you can tell, I have texture in this area of my face. The foundation from Dior is kind of clinging on to that texture, but this side looks way smoother. It could be a skin thing, but I think because this has more of a matte finish, this isn't looking that great on my texture. I have tried the Dior multiple times as well, and this is unfortunately a common occurrence for a $57 foundation. If I had to choose between this $6 foundation and a $57 stick foundation, I think I'm gonna have to go with Essence. Sorry, I'm really disappointed in this. I have very mixed feelings about the next two products because I don't know which one I like better. Let's compare a $12 contour stick versus a $50 contour stick. This one's from CoverGirl and this one is from Dior. Surprise, surprise. CoverGirl has a fairly thin texture. It's an extremely gray contour. This is in the shade Sculpted, and Dior has a thicker, creamier texture, and this one is in the shade 03 Medium. Although this is also very gray, I think the Dior one leans more neutral. And in my opinion, they both blend beautifully, but the Dior is way more pigmented, while the CoverGirl is slightly less pigmented, so you can get more of a natural blend with it. I'm just not sure which one is going to work better on my skin tone, so we're going to find out. I love the size of the CoverGirl because it's a perfect stick form that's easy to draw on, but I do find the Dior, although you would like to do that, because it's so pigmented, I don't recommend swiping this on. It's really difficult to work with. CoverGirl is a lot more user-friendly, beginner-friendly, and then we're just going to blend the contour. Okay, so you definitely see that shadowy vibe going on, but it's not super harsh on the skin. Very easy to blend out. Doesn't seem too muddy. I mean, it's a little muddy because it's gray, so it's kind of as expected. But I can like fix that up with some foundation to look sculpted. This is a little too chunky to use on the nose, but you can make it work. For Dior, I do prefer to use a brush because it is significantly more pigmented. So I'm just going to take the brush, take the excess off of the back of my hand, and I'm going to shape it myself with a brush. Oh yeah, I think I actually like this color a lot more because it's not too gray. But as you can tell, the Dior is a little too pigmented, so you have to do a little extra blending. I feel like y'all are gonna like this side better, but I like the color of this side. I just wouldn't pair this stick contour with that foundation because it's just starting to look really patchy, which is annoying me. But this side is more seamless and well blended. So here's what I'll say. Save the money if you can, because I do think this one is user-friendly, beginner-friendly. They have a few really gray shades, so if you need something more on the gray side, I think you'll really love this. But splurge if you want a particular shade and the Dior contour line that maybe CoverGirl doesn't have, because I do think that this color is more natural to the contours of my skin. But also this could work. It's a tie. Moving on to bronzer, which in my opinion is completely incomparable, but I'm gonna let you guess which one I choose. This is a powder bronzer for $1.25, and this is the Dior bronzer for $52. The Dior bronzer has this gorgeous quilted cushioned packaging. There is a slight scent to this. Again, it's like a sweet, almost jasmine smell to it. I really like the smell of this bronzer. And it's humongous. Like this is compared to the size of my head, compared to the size of my hand. And the Dollar Tree one, in comparison, is fairly small. Got the classic cheap packaging. This one comes with 0.25 ounces and this one comes with 63 ounces. Let's compare the colors first because in my opinion, the color of the bronzer matters the most. This is the La Mercerie Sunlit Bronzer and I have the shade in, there is no shade, okay. I think there was about 3 or 2 different bronzer shade options. So this feels kind of silky, has a slight shine, but nothing too metallic. The color though is very orange. I'm a little scared. The $1.25 bronzer is not too orange on my skin. Like, that's not that orange. I think it actually looks kind of pretty, dare I say. I also find that this is a really sheer formula. Like, I really have to build up the color, but I'm not mad at it. To clean off the brush real quick because I don't have another bronzer brush right now. Everything is dirty. But let's do the Dior side. Oop. Yeah, you can definitely see a darkness in the color. It's giving, I just got a tan. I look tanner with the Dior. And this smells good. I usually don't prefer fragrance, but I like the smell of this bronzer. This is giving JLo glow. This is giving sculpted, just tan kind of bronze. Now for the moment of truth. Would I choose the $1 powder bronzer or splurge on this $52 powder bronzer? I gotta be honest, I would splurge on this Dior bronzer. Not only do I love the tan vibes it gives me, but the packaging is just so stinking cute. And I do feel like you are paying for the gorgeous packaging as well. In this scenario, I think sometimes paying more money up front and splurging might save you money in the long run from just getting the thing that you wanted in the first place, because it prevents you from replacing things that are bad quality. And jewelry is a good example of this. I'm currently wearing some pieces from Ideal, and as you can tell, these are some very dainty pieces, but they were made to be lived in. I have showered in these, I've slept in them, I've worn them for a few weeks, and they are still in very good condition. And the jewelry that I picked out is made with 14 karat gold and lab-grown diamonds, which are meant to last, so I don't feel like I need to be extremely careful with them. I love that the earrings are fully stackable and customizable. I'm currently wearing 3 different ones. This is the medium stud paired with the spark ear cuff and Romy earrings. And on my neck is their Issa necklace shaped like a marquee diamond. This has become a part of me at this point. I don't take it off because all these pieces are very minimalistic and simple. They match with everything I wear every day. So if you consider cost per wear, I do think it's worth a splurge, especially if you want jewelry that is going to last you a very long time and jewelry that you don't have to take off. If you want to check out these pieces for yourself, I linked all of my favorites in the description. The next 2 products have me questioning whether or not I accidentally fell for a scam. This is the YSL brightening concealer for $40, and this is the Dollar Tree concealer for $1.25. I chose to compare these two because they both have a very thin and wet texture. Interesting enough, the Dollar Tree version matches my skin tone nearly perfectly. There were only 3 shade options: light, medium, and dark or deep, I believe. So I picked medium thinking, okay, it'll be a brightening color for me. But y'all, this is the same color as my skin. I think I just got lucky, but I was in disbelief. You could also buy 2 colors, mix them together, and it will still be cheaper than this YSL concealer. Now, I do like that this YSL concealer has a clicky packaging to it, and it's slightly peachier, so it's going to brighten the under eyes. It also sets down not as wet as the Dollar Tree version. But the biggest crime is how much you get for a $40 concealer. YSL comes with 0.08 fluid ounces or 2.5 milliliters. The Be Pure Essentially Ageless Concealer comes with 0.5 fluid ounces or 15 milliliters. 15 milliliters, 2.5 milliliters. You be the judge. Now let's blend it out. The dollar concealer is not too shabby. I think that looks absolutely beautiful. Let's clean off the brush, blend out the YSL side. And this way you can definitely see the peachiness in the concealer, and it's more matte. Now we're gonna come back to this because I do want the eyes to kind of settle just to see if either one creases. The next product is nearly an exact dupe, $1.25 for a cheek and lip tint, or you can pay $26 for a cheek and lip tint. They look nearly identical. Even the color of the packaging is identical. For $1.25, you also get more product. This one comes with 28 ounces. The Milk Makeup one comes with 0.17. Let's start with Milk Makeup. I really like this one. It has a very cooling texture on it. A lot of people complain that this is difficult to blend, which I can understand because if you put too much and don't blend fast enough, it really is hard to blend. But this color in particular, I've never had too much trouble with because it just looks like what I look like when I flush, sort of. So I really like this color. Now the dollar one also has a very cooling texture, but it's not nearly as pigmented. I'm really, layering this up for the color. That's not necessarily a bad thing though. Like, it might be better for beginners because a lot of people are complaining that this is too hard to blend. You can't tell me they look different. The color is the same. This still does need to be built up a little bit more to look like this side, but I sort of like that this one is more faded than the Milk Makeup side. It's giving fresh. This is giving too much. My consensus here is that if you really, really want the shade Spritz in particular, the $1.25 version is not bad. Definitely save your money if you can. Let's compare the $46 YSL blush versus a $3 Wet n Wild blush. They both have a very similar peachy tone to it. I do think the Wet n Wild blush is a brighter peach versus the YSL blush has more of a red tone to it. The YSL blush feels more powdery. The Wet n Wild blush is slightly, actually, wait a minute. It's also powdery, but the Wet n Wild blush is giving a little chalkier. So let's compare. YSL, tap, 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 tap. I'm only gonna put it on the tops of my cheekbones. Beautiful, gorgeous, blurring, love it. Wet n Wild, tap, 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 tap. Okay. So this color is more brightening. It looks nice, and I like the color. And honestly, it's just as blurring. Formula-wise, you could definitely save your money. Color-wise, I would splurge on YSL, especially if you like the packaging. But the Wet n Wild blush is kind of chalky. I can't imagine someone with a deeper skin tone liking this. So in that scenario, if you are tanner or darker than me, splurge on a different blush. One that actually works on your skin tone. Now the next comparison, in my opinion, was the most shocking of all because I didn't expect for them to be so similar. But we're gonna compare the $39 Armani liquid eyeshadow with the Dollar Tree liquid eyeshadows. This comes with 3 colors for $1.25 and you get 1 color for $39. I'm willing to splurge on the Armani liquid eyeshadows because I love how easy and user-friendly they are. You're just gonna swipe them on the eyes, take your finger or a brush and blend them. I also got these during their 40% off sale, so it's a little bit more justifiable that way. But these have been one of the best liquid eyeshadows I've ever tried, and I highly recommend them, especially if you don't like to do eyeshadow and you want a little bit of oomph. But there it is. One done mascara, go. But here we have the La Mercerie liquid eyeshadow trio. The packaging is not doing it for me. It's definitely giving elementary. But dare I say, the formulas are kind of similar. The black shade, completely unusable. To share, don't like it. Would probably never put that on my eyes. Let's throw it out actually. The middle shade is more of like a golden bronze, and this is very similar to the shade that I just used on my eyes. But as you can tell, it's not as sheer as the black. There's more shine and it's not as patchy. And then it also comes with a copper color, which again, very pretty. Would definitely put this on my eyes. So let's use the champagne color on the eyes. Yeah, this one is less cool tone. It's more warm tone than the Armani Beauty one. And it's literally blending out the same as Armani Beauty. That's crazy. Now, it's giving sheer. So let's build it up so that give it a fair shot. I'm in disbelief. Like, I would wear this on a daily basis. I don't even have an Armani liquid eyeshadow of this color. Oh my lord. Wow. And it's not patchy, it's not streaky. It literally is a good reflection of the Armani Beauty. Well, this is a hard choice. I will say Armani has a lot more shade options. The packaging is a preference, but if you really just want the same one and done vibe, and you're in a pinch, you know, you don't want to splurge, but you really just want something simple you can throw in your eyes that gives you that Armani effect, the Dollar Tree has it. My final consensus is to save your money if you have to, but splurge if you want to treat yourself. Okay, a few minutes have passed. Let's go ahead and check under my eyes for the YSL and the Be Pure concealer. Just a fair warning, y'all, my makeup's not supposed to look good today. I am testing these products out. They're not gonna look good, but let's get up close and personal anyways. YSL definitely has creasing, breaks up around my dry patches and areas. The Be Pure as well. So honestly, they perform the same in my opinion. In this case, I'm just going to tell you to save your money. Now let's compare a $1.25 setting spray versus a $38 setting spray. Now I usually like to use the Charlotte Tilbury to melt my makeup together, so I'm not going to be testing the longevity of this setting spray. I love the smell of this one. It's very sweet, but not overpowering. The mist was mid. It could definitely be a finer, more softer mist. Now this one is the Hydro Glow Le Mercerie setting spray, and it has a dewy finish for a fresh face look. It's really tiny, good for travel. Oh! That was worse than the Charlotte Tilbury. That was offensive, actually. Okay. It smells like alcohol. I love how it says, caution and warning, if skin rash appears, discontinue use and consult a physician. Water, glycol PVP, dimethicone aloe leaf, red 40, and yellow 5. Why is that in here? Okay, apparently there's no alcohol in here, but it smells like alcohol, so I have no idea. To those of you who are more skincare experts, let me know what you think about these ingredients. Personally, I'm gonna splurge and stick with my Charlotte Tilbury. The next two products, I have no idea which one I'm gonna like better because I have recently been loving the cheaper version, but I've never actually put a side-by-side comparison with the more expensive version. So let's see which one I like. This is the famous Huda Beauty powder for $39 and the Morphe powder for $16. I paid less than that, so let's imagine if you can get it at a discount. It's cheaper. The Huda Beauty is in the shade Banana Bread and the Morphe is in the shade Banana. So let's open both of these up. I already know that the Huda Beauty shade is a little lighter than my preference. Like it almost kind of ends up being, ooh, that's a lot, looking more white and transparent on my skin. But the Morphe version has a yellower tint. So to me, this fits better with my undertones. The Morphe version is also talc free. The first ingredient is mica, so it's gonna be shinier and slightly more luminous, but I don't see, no, there is glitter in this, I think. I don't know, I don't see the glitter on my face though, so to me, it doesn't really make that big of a difference. The Huda one is probably gonna be more matte, and it's just more of a creamy powder. Let's start with Huda first. Tap off the excess. And it works exactly how I expect it to work. I have no complaints with the Huda Beauty powder. I think it's a staple. It mattifies my skin, it does what it needs to do, and it sets my makeup. I like to do a little bit of baking in this area of my face just to clean it up, and we'll wipe that away in a little. Flip over the brush, apply it under the eyes. Yeah, you definitely see more of a yellow tinge to this powder in person, but in my opinion, it's mattifying my skin. Honestly, even better than the Huda Beauty one, and I just like the color better. Let's bake a little bit, clean up this area. And because this is a thinner powder, I do feel like it really grabs onto my foundation. We're gonna let this sit, see if any of my oils pull through faster on one side than the other side, and I'll let you know which one I prefer. Off camera, just to clean up my look a little bit, I did some eyeliner and mascara. I looked a little crazy, okay? But the last product we're gonna compare is a $6 lip liner to a what is this? A $26 lip liner from Charlotte Tilbury. So NYX versus Charlotte. The next lip liner I have is in the shade Brown. Oh, how creative. I used to love this liner, and this was the liner I was wearing every day before I got Charlotte. It's a classic lip liner. I would say that this is more of a dupe for the MAC lip liners because they have a very similar quality to them. The Charlotte liner is in Foxy Brown. If you watch my channel, you know this is my favorite color. It's a little stub. This lip liner is waxier, but it sets down, so I do find that Charlotte's last longer, and the color for Charlotte is not as red. Let's just finish it off with a $1 lip balm. As you can tell, as I apply on the lip liner, I feel like the Charlotte lip liner stays put a little bit better, but the NYX lip liner blends into the gloss. That doesn't mean it's bad, but depending on your longevity preferences, I do believe Charlotte is totally worth a splurge. Back to the Huda Beauty and the Morphe powder. Y'all, I think both of them looks good. This is why I really love the Morphe powder. I do think it is very comparable to Huda, even though it's talc free and even though the texture feels slightly different. But in terms of the finish, if anything, dare I say, I like the Morphe better because it has a slight sheen, which makes my skin look blurred and matte but not super flat, versus the Huda Beauty, because it's a lot more matte, it flattens my face out of it. I cannot believe I'm saying this, but save your money, get the Morphe.